Ladies and gentlemen, friends and family, today I stand before you to speak about a subject that has touched the hearts of millions throughout history: the love of God. God's love is more than just a feeling or an emotion. It is a boundless force that sustains us, shapes us, and guides us through the most challenging of times. It's a love that does not waver, a love that remains steadfast even when we fall short, a love that embraces us with open arms when we feel lost and undeserving. We often hear that God's love is unconditional. What does that mean? It means that God's love is not based on what we do or who we are. It doesn't depend on our successes or failures, our strengths or weaknesses. It's a love that is not earned, but freely given. This unconditional love reflects a profound truth: that we are cherished simply because we exist. The love of God is like a gentle stream, calming and comforting us. It is like a mighty ocean, vast and incomprehensible. It is both the whisper of hope in our darkest nights and a song of joy in our brightest days. When we experience pain or hardship, we often ask, where is God's love? But it's in these moments of struggle that God's love is most present, offering us strength and courage to carry on, assuring us that we are never alone. The love of God teaches us to love others as He loves us, without prejudice, without judgment, and with a heart full of compassion. This divine love calls us to reach out to those in need, to forgive those who have wronged us, and to be a source of light in a world that sometimes seems overshadowed by darkness. But how do we experience God's love? It's in the small, everyday moments: a comforting word from a friend, the beauty of nature, the quiet peace we feel in prayer or reflection. It's in the embrace of family, the laughter of children, and the kindness of strangers. God's love is all around us, woven into the fabric of our lives, waiting to be acknowledged and embraced. Today, I encourage each of us to open our hearts and receive this love, to let it transform us from within. Allow God's love to heal wounds, to lift burdens, and to fill us with a joy that surpasses understanding. And as we receive this love, may we also give it freely to others, becoming vessels of His grace and mercy in a world that sometimes feels divided and broken. The love of God stands as a reminder that there is a higher power that connects us all, a love that binds us together and calls us to live in harmony. This love is a gift, a promise, and a source of hope. May we all find comfort in the knowledge that we are deeply and irrevocably loved by God. The concept of love is one of the most profound and powerful emotions we experience in life. However, no human love can compare to the divine love that God has for His children, a love that is infinite, unconditional, and everlasting. This endless love is a recurring theme in many religious texts and teachings, offering comfort, hope, and guidance to those who seek to understand its depth and significance. The love of God is unique in that it does not waver or diminish based on our actions, circumstances, or worthiness. It is a love that transcends human understanding, one that is not bound by the limitations of time, space, or even our own shortcomings. God's love is like an ever-flowing river, a constant source of grace and mercy that never runs dry. He loves us not because of what we do, but simply because we are His children, created in His image and precious in His sight. One of the most beautiful aspects of God's love is its unconditional nature. Unlike human love, which can sometimes be influenced by emotions, expectations, or conditions, God's love is freely given, without any prerequisites. Whether we succeed or fail, whether we are filled with joy or struggling with pain, God's love remains constant and unwavering. This unconditional love is a reflection of God's character, one that is patient, kind, and compassionate. It is a love that sees beyond our flaws and mistakes, always offering a path back to grace and redemption. The Bible, among many religious texts, beautifully illustrates this divine love through parables and stories. The parable of the prodigal son, for instance, is a testament to God's endless love. Despite the son's mistakes and rebellion, the father welcomes him back with open arms, celebrating his return rather than condemning him for his failures. This story serves as a metaphor for God's love for us. No matter how far we stray or how lost we feel, God is always ready to embrace us, forgive us, and restore us to our rightful place as His beloved children. Furthermore, God's love is sacrificial. The greatest demonstration of this is seen in the Christian belief in the sacrifice of Jesus Christ. According to this belief, God's love was so profound that He gave His only Son to suffer and die so that humanity could be redeemed and have eternal life. This selfless act represents the ultimate expression of love, one that is willing to endure pain and loss for the sake of others. It is through this sacrifice that believers are reminded of the immense value they hold in God's eyes and the lengths He is willing to go to ensure their salvation. God's love also teaches us valuable lessons about our own relationships and interactions. By experiencing His love, we learn to love others in a more genuine and compassionate way. We are called to extend forgiveness, kindness, and empathy, just as God does for us. His love serves as a model for how we should treat one another, with respect, patience, and an understanding heart. It calls us to look beyond appearances and circumstances, to see the intrinsic worth and beauty in every individual, and to love without expecting anything in return. Despite the overwhelming nature of God's love, it can sometimes be difficult to accept or understand. We live in a world that often conditions us to believe that love must be earned or deserved. Yet, God's love breaks through these misconceptions, offering a steadfast assurance that we are cherished simply because we exist. It is in this acceptance of divine love that we find true peace and fulfillment. In times of difficulty, pain, or loneliness, God's love serves as an anchor, providing comfort and strength. It is a reminder that we are never alone, that there is a higher power guiding and supporting us through life's challenges. When we feel unworthy or lost, God's love reassures us of our value and identity as His children, inspiring us to rise above our circumstances and embrace the hope and joy that comes from being deeply and irrevocably loved. The endless love of God for His children is a love that knows no bounds. It is a love that is ever-present, unwavering, and unconditional. It teaches us to love ourselves and others more deeply, to forgive and to seek forgiveness, and to trust in a power greater than ourselves. This divine love is a gift, a promise, and a guiding light that leads us through the complexities of life, reminding us always of our worth and purpose. Embracing this love is the key to understanding our true identity and experiencing the fullness of life as God's beloved children. Love is a universal emotion that defines human experiences and relationships. It connects people, motivates actions, and offers a sense of belonging and purpose. While love exists in many forms, romantic, familial, platonic, there is a fundamental distinction between human love and the divine love of God. Understanding this distinction not only deepens our appreciation of love itself, but also offers insights into the nature of our relationship with a higher power. Human love is complex and multifaceted, shaped by emotions, experiences, and individual desires. It is a dynamic force that can bring immense joy, fulfillment, and companionship. However, human love is often limited and imperfect. It is influenced by personal expectations, needs, and circumstances. For example, romantic love may be accompanied by feelings of passion and devotion, but it can also be marked by jealousy, insecurity, or possessiveness. Similarly, familial love often involves a deep sense of loyalty and protection. Yet it may also struggle under the weight of misunderstandings, conflicts, and unmet expectations. One of the defining characteristics of human love is its conditional nature. People often love others based on certain qualities, actions, or behaviors. We admire someone's kindness, are drawn to their beauty, or cherish the comfort and support they provide. This type of love can be strong and genuine, but it is also vulnerable to change. When conditions change, if a loved one disappoints us or no longer meets our expectations, our feelings may waver. Human love, though powerful, is ultimately bound by our imperfections and limitations. In contrast, God's love is infinite, unconditional, and unchanging. It surpasses human comprehension and is often described as perfect and eternal. Unlike human love, which can be influenced by moods, circumstances, or expectations, God's love is consistent and unwavering. It is not based on merit, worth, or performance, but is freely given to all. One of the most profound aspects of God's love is its unconditional nature. It does not require us to be perfect, successful, or flawless. Even in our weakest moments, when we feel unworthy or broken, God's love remains steadfast. This love is a reflection of God's very nature, merciful, forgiving, and compassionate. It is a love that sees beyond our flaws and shortcomings, accepting us for who we are and encouraging us to become better versions of ourselves. The Bible, along with other religious texts, provides countless examples of God's love. In Christianity, God's love is epitomized through the sacrifice of Jesus Christ, who, according to the faith, gave his life so that humanity could be redeemed and reconciled with God. This sacrificial love demonstrates the extent of God's devotion to his creation, showing that his love is not passive but active, willing to endure pain and suffering for the sake of others. While both human love and God's love share the essence of care, affection, and desire for the well-being of the beloved, they differ in several key ways. Human love often has conditions. We may love someone because they make us feel good, because they share our values, or because they are part of our family. When these conditions are challenged, our love might falter. God's love, however, is unconditional. It is not based on what we do or who we are, but on his nature as a loving creator. Human love, no matter how profound, is finite. We have limits to our patience, forgiveness, and empathy. God's love is limitless. It knows no bounds and is offered to everyone, regardless of their past, mistakes, or flaws. Human love can fade over time. Friendships drift apart. Romantic relationships end, and people change. God's love, however, is eternal. It exists beyond the constraints of time and remains constant throughout our lives and beyond. Human love is often tied to emotions and can be influenced by personal desires or expectations. God's love, on the other hand, is selfless and sacrificial. It seeks the best for others, even at a cost to himself, as demonstrated by his willingness to forgive and redeem. While there are clear distinctions between human love and God's love, the two are interconnected. Human love, in its purest form, is a reflection of God's love. When we love selflessly, forgive generously, and extend compassion and empathy, we mirror the divine love that God has for us. These glimpses of divine love in human relationships serve as reminders of the higher love that God offers. Moreover, understanding and experiencing God's love can transform our human relationships. When we internalize God's unconditional love, it becomes easier to love others without judgment, to forgive without holding on to resentment, and to extend grace without expecting anything in return. God's love inspires us to love others in a more profound and meaningful way, breaking down barriers and building bridges of understanding and acceptance. In essence, human love and God's love are distinct yet complementary. Human love, with all its beauty and imperfections, points toward the perfect, unconditional, and eternal love of God. While human love may falter and fade, God's love remains constant and unchanging. It is a source of hope, strength, and guidance, offering us a glimpse of the divine and inspiring us to love more deeply and genuinely in our own lives. Embracing both human love and God's love allows us to experience the fullness of what it means to be connected, cherished, and valued. The concept of grace is one of the most profound and central themes in many religious traditions, symbolizing a divine favor that transcends human understanding. In Christian theology, the grace of God is often described as an unmerited gift, one that cannot be earned or deserved, but is freely given out of love and mercy. This notion of grace is both humbling and empowering, as it offers believers a path to redemption, transformation, and a deeper relationship with the divine. Grace, at its core, refers to the unconditional favor and kindness that God bestows upon humanity. It is often understood as an extension of God's love and mercy, reaching out to people in their weakness and imperfections. Unlike other attributes or blessings, grace does not depend on human effort or righteousness. It is not something we can earn through good deeds or moral behavior. Instead, grace is given freely, without consideration of worthiness, as an expression of God's boundless compassion and benevolence. In many ways, grace is the opposite of what we might expect. It contradicts the human tendency to measure and evaluate worth based on performance or merit. Grace says, "You are loved and valued not because of what you have done, but simply because of who you are." This divine grace is a powerful reminder that God's love is not something we can earn, but a gift that is offered to us even when we feel unworthy or undeserving. One of the most significant aspects of God's grace is its role in redemption and salvation. In Christian teachings, humanity is seen as flawed and in need of salvation. Sin, in this context, represents a separation from God, a state of spiritual brokenness that no amount of human effort can repair. It is through God's grace that this separation is healed. The sacrifice of Jesus Christ is often viewed as the ultimate expression of grace, where God, out of his love for humanity, provided a path for reconciliation and eternal life. The Apostle Paul, in his letters, emphasizes that it is by grace that believers are saved, not by their own works. He writes in Ephesians 2 verses 8 to 9, "For it is by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not from yourselves. It is the gift of God, not by works, so that no one can boast." This statement underscores the idea that grace is a divine gift, independent of human effort or accomplishment. It humbles believers by highlighting their dependence on God's mercy, while also offering hope and assurance that they are accepted and loved despite their imperfections. While grace is often associated with forgiveness and mercy, its impact goes far beyond the pardon of sins. Grace is also a source of empowerment and transformation. It enables believers to rise above their weaknesses, overcome challenges, and live in a way that reflects God's love and goodness. This transformative power of grace is evident in how it can change hearts and minds, leading people to pursue a life of greater compassion, generosity, and humility. When individuals experience God's grace, it often inspires them to extend grace to others, understanding that they have received an unmerited gift. They become more willing to forgive, to show kindness, and to help those in need. In this way, grace becomes not only a personal blessing, but a force for good in the world, encouraging acts of love and service that reflect the character of God. One of the most comforting aspects of God's grace is its relationship with human imperfection. Everyone falls short at times, making mistakes, acting selfishly, or failing to live up to their own values and ideals. In these moments of failure or weakness, it is easy to feel discouraged, ashamed, or unworthy. However, God's grace reassures believers that they are not defined by their shortcomings. It offers a new beginning, an opportunity to learn and grow, and the assurance that they're loved and valued regardless of their flaws. This aspect of grace encourages a mindset of humility and gratitude. Instead of being consumed by guilt or self-condemnation, believers are invited to accept God's forgiveness and to embrace the lessons that come from their experiences. Grace does not ignore or minimize wrongdoing. Instead, it acknowledges it, addresses it, and provides the strength to move forward in a healthier and more loving way. The grace of God is not limited to extraordinary acts of salvation or forgiveness. It is present in the ordinary moments of life, providing comfort, guidance, and support. Grace can be seen in the kindness of a friend, the beauty of nature, or the peace that comes during prayer or meditation. It is in the opportunities for reconciliation with others, the unexpected blessings that come our way, and the inner strength that helps us endure difficult times. Living in awareness of God's grace fosters a spirit of gratitude and trust. It encourages individuals to see life not as a series of burdens or achievements, but as a journey guided and enriched by a loving Creator. This perspective allows people to approach challenges with confidence, knowing that they are not alone and that God's grace is sufficient to meet their needs. The grace of God is a profound and transformative gift, one that encompasses forgiveness, empowerment, and unconditional love. It defies human understanding by offering favor that is not based on merit, but on the limitless compassion of the divine. Grace plays a central role in redemption, providing a path for reconciliation and healing, while also serving as a source of strength and transformation in the lives of believers. Through the lens of grace, we see ourselves not as mere recipients of divine favor, but as vessels through which that favor can flow into the world. By embracing and sharing God's grace, we become participants in a greater story, one that is defined not by judgment or perfection, but by love, mercy, and the unending generosity of God's heart. May we all be open to experiencing and sharing this grace, allowing it to shape us into more compassionate, loving, and hopeful beings.